Harry Enton, he's gotten to be a pretty funny data analyst over on CNN. He was talking about the Senate Minority Leader, he was talking about Chuck Schumer. Watch.
His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
I think he did a Charles Barkley impression as well. He said, terrible, terrible, terrible for Senator Schumer. By the way, do you think Senator Schumer's in a weird position here? Because, look, I think he's responsible for the shutdown. The Dems are mad that there's no longer a shutdown. The base is mad. There's reporting today Schumer actually extended the shutdown. He kept the coalition together for an extra, 2 or 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
They wanted to fold 2 weeks ago. These 8 Democrats, they wanted to fold 2 weeks ago, and he held them together. And now, I mean, he's a zombie. He's a dead man walking inside the Democrat Party.
Actually, it was 13. I was part of those negotiations. They had agreed to reopen the government. Sorry about that. They had agreed to reopen the government after No King's Day or No King's Rally. And Schumer said, we can't do it now. Our base is all stirred up. Let's wait 2 more weeks. After the election, we will allow you I'll take the handcuffs off. That was, quote, what they said at my house in Washington, D.C. They were sitting around my table, and they said, after the election, they'll let us go vote. Dick Durbin wanted to break last week. Number 2, he's the number 2 Senate leader in leadership and Democrat in the Senate. They had said, Schumer had told them, look, just go after the election. We don't want our base to be frustrated at us. We need them to turn out, let them vote. After they do that, I'm going to vote no, but you guys go vote how you want to. After the election on Tuesday, when Mondami was elected communist mayor of New York, they came back and with all these ridiculous demands. Those 13 individuals were very upset because we were supposed to open the government on that Thursday. They didn't. The pressure became so big that even Tim Kaine, who said, I have 350,000 federal employees, I'm voting with him. He wasn't actually part of that 13. He became part of the 8. And actually what Tim did is he gave everybody the excuse to vote with us. When he said it's our federal employees at this point, even though Tim and I have had publicly difference of opinions on a lot of hearings, he was the one that actually had a point of reason that he started representing his state rather than allowing Chuck Schumer to make those decisions. Now, through this whole process, we never negotiated with Chuck Schumer's office. It was irrational. He was making political decisions when everybody was trying to make policy decisions. We were actually talking to Hakeem Jeffries' office more than we were the Democrat leader Chuck Schumer's office. What's happened is he's making political decisions because he's afraid of his next election. And it's not because of AOC. Even though AOC will beat him in 2028, it's about Mondami running against him in 2028. Remember, he can't run for president because he just became a naturalized citizen in 2018. So he can never run for president, but he can run for Senate. And when you start looking at AOC, she's probably eyeing a vice president ticket with Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders right now leads the polls as the likely presidential candidate in 2028 because this extreme base that Bernie Sanders has been building that the Democrats now are listening to, which has drove them off the cliff, which is why they had the lowest rating in Democrat history since it's been polled right now because they're being led by this socialist movement.
So you're telling me 2 follow-ups. I'm sure you're not going to tell me, but there was 13 Democrats that wanted to break ranks. Yes. Ultimately, only 8 did. Tim Kaine was one of the 8 and not one of the original 13. So math, 6 Democrats, went from being reasonable to irrational there in the last week?
No, they moved into the vote no, hope yes caucus. There's a lot of people that do that. Oh. They vote no because they're scared of their base. But they really want it to be open, so they hope yes, and that is very, very common for.
So they looked over there and go. They go look and they go. Thank God Tim's going to vote. Now I don't have to. That's what they did.
Two of them that said yes that had voted with us in the past were the 2 senators from Georgia, that had and I'm not going to name the rest of them. Those 2 just make me that upset me the most because they had said that they were going to vote with us. Plus, they had voted with us on the past throughout this whole negotiating process on different bills, and they were MIA during the final vote.
Oh wow, yeah. Ossoff and Warnock, you're right. I forgot about that.
Right.
They were always yeses, and then at the last minute they get to say no, so they can placate the
Right.
base. They're gonna politically, they're both gonna they'll play that both ways in Georgia when they're running for office against Derek Dooley or
Yeah, they'll
whoever else
say
is
that we
running on the
voted. Yeah,
Republican
we
ticket.
voted to pay essential employees because those they never voted on us with the CR, but they voted to pay essential employees. They voted for the CR, not for the CR, but for Ron Johnson's bill to reopen the government for essential programs. They voted to fund
Right.
the military, but they voted no to reopen the government every time.
So, and your prediction, just to be clear, Senator, is that Schumer's not running afraid of AOC because she's going to take a vice presidential. She's eyeing a vice presidential nomination, but Schumer's now afraid of Mamdani running for Senate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, he didn't become, I don't know what's going on with my throat. He didn't become that schooled in his answers overnight. He was a city council member. As he went on, he started talking like Obama. The Democrats rushed to him and they started schooling him on how to answer his questions. Now, his cadence isn't like Obama. He's a lot more relaxed, but he started taking on that Obama air, where I'm playing basketball, I'm cool. Where I smoke a cigarette every now and then, I'm cool. Started showing up at clubs and acting like he belongs there. The way he handled his rally, the young people that were there, the way he could answer, well, yeah, I was for it, but I'm not for that now. If you look at him, the Democrat Party rushed to him as a leader, but they can never make him into the president. The highest office he can hold is Senate. That's the highest office he can hold. His plans, even the Democrats know that a communist trying to put in, I don't know what they call these individuals to replace the police. What is it? What is it they're trying to do? They're not community
Social workers.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, and trying to make all grocery stores free, trying to take away public property and taxing the billionaires to an absurd amount. They know that can't work. But he can't do it in 4 years, but he complain about it. He can complain why he can't get it done in 4 years, but it's 2 years and he's out. So he starts running for Senate in a year and a half from now, and I think he runs against Chuck Schumer.